The globs of blood were flung up into the air in long strings, which finally arced and fell back to the ground and onto Richard, offering the victor the hot,
satisfying taste of it in his mouth.
Hello and welcome to Seeker and Confessor, a Sword of Truth podcast. This is episode 14. My name's Lauren.
And I'm Frank.
And today we are talking about chapter 21 of Wizard's First Rule. We should do this.
Oh, what? Oh, Wizards? Wizard's First Rule.
That's getting complicated.
Rule.
I just like this, like, Wizard's First Rule. Okay. Welcome. And today, I guess we should, like, since we put the blood on our face, we should have just put on the costume of Richard and Kaylin.
That's true. But Richard would wear something like this, I think. I like to think that.
I don't think Kaylin would wear this velour.
She might. You don't know.
Sweater. I don't think
that's
so.
That's what they wear back at the Confessor's Keep.
When they're going to bed.
Yeah, it's all velour nighties and
oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
Cute to think about.
Uh-huh.
We are today in honor of Richard's first kill.
Let's go.
First kill.
First one that counts.
We are covered in blood. Frank more so than me, because Richard had a lot more blood going on in his world.
So much blood.
I just got a little splatter, which, because it's a little splatter, I feel like it kind of just looks like I have a rash or I'm having an allergic reaction.
No.
It's a blood splatter.
It looks like the blood of my enemies.
That's what it is. So yeah, we're going to do one chapter today.
That's it. Chapter 21.
Our episodes have been a little too long lately.
Very long. We're pushing the limit, I think.
I don't know. I guess it depends on who you ask. Some people I think are happy about it and other people maybe aren't. Nobody said anything.
No.
But, it's a lot to ask.
The length and the girth. Getting too much,
We're trying to bring it back. So we're trying to we're doing the one episode hoping that we'll stay we'll stay around an hour.
About an hour. Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah, we are also kind of sick. So if we sound stuffed up and we're kind of low energy, sorry.
Yeah.
And we're also filming this real close to the day it's coming out, which we normally don't do.
No, we would never normally do that, but
we were sick.
Here we are.
So
illness, holidays.
Forgive us.
You all get it. But
yeah,
we're here. We're showing up for you.
We're here. We're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Not too much. Well, I keep wanting to be like, oh, not too much crazy shit happens, just because Dark and Rawl's not in it. Nothing super absurd happens that we're gonna be dunking on.
It's more like one idea stretched out over the course of one chapter, but
it's like a serious idea.
It's serious, yeah.
And there's one or two things that are are you pointing at something?
No, I was burping. I was trying not to do it. So.
Oh, I thought you were trying to tell me something was in my teeth.
No, nothing in your beautiful teeth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So last chapter 20.
Yeah.
Richard and Kaylin going through the Narrows.
Oh yeah.
Richard's accosted by the shadow.
So many shadow things. Not people.
Not people. Shadow things. Is kind of overtaken. Until he's not. Until he.
Yeah. Super Saiyans.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Until he Dragon Ball Z's them. And then.
Over 9,000. Shadow's dead.
It sounded like it, yeah. And then Kaylin disappears. We don't know to where. Frank made predictions.
Bold claims.
That were not true.
Bold claims. Maybe inaccurate.
Why you were so confident?
I was.
Yeah, for those who don't remember, Frank was convinced that Kaylin had been whisked away to Darkenrawl's bedroom.
The boudoir.
There was so much content left in the book that I was like, "There's no. That's such a."
Yeah, I was definitely thinking of later books where sometimes Kaylin will just be snatched for 60% of the book.
Yeah,
and it's just oh yeah, we're doing it already. No.
So okay,
not
one
yet.
Prediction totally wrong.
Wow.
Kaylin was not with Darkenrawl.
Not yet.
But one prediction from the first or second episode is correct and confirmed in this chapter, and I am unhappy to report that the Mud People are the first
people of the Midlands. Yeah!
They're the first people Richard and Kaylin talked to. I thought that this happened way later. Yep. To be fair, we're like deep in the book.
Yeah, we're 200 pages in, and Big Booby Witch didn't happen yet. So, I don't know, maybe that is the second book.
I have to deal with the mud people.
You got to deal with the mud people.
Before I get anybody Mordsithing, boobying.
You don't get Mordsith ever.
It's in this book, though.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but I'm saying I have to trudge and...
Trudge through what?
The mud.
Trudge through what?
I got to trudge through the mud.
Yes, you do.
To get to the boobies.
Yep. That's just how it is, all right? That's how this world is.
That's terrible. You think that was something... Yeah, he was like, you better commit. You don't get the boobies unless you commit.
If you're not willing to walk through heaven, hell, and high water, and mud, you ain't getting boobies.
Well, now we have to... I don't remember...
Chaste and untouchable mother confessor only. You can look at her neck, but you don't get boobies.
You can want to bite and...
You can want to bite her supple, delicious neck in Addie's Bone Mansion.
And I can look at Zed's ass.
It's non-ass.
But I can't have...
You can gaze it.
Boobies until I deal with the mud people. That's how this is.
At the very least. They probably got boobies. Mud boobies.
That's true.
We'll see.
That's true. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe they do. I don't remember if they do. I just remember finding it. It wasn't that I hated them entirely.
No, they were...
It was just that I remember feeling like it went on too long. Like, I was like, I'm ready to not be with the mud people.
Yeah.
At some point.
Well, because, like, when you're thinking of, like, epic fantasy and, like... You know, like, usually, like, when the boy hero leaves his, like, small town, he goes somewhere magical or big. And this is a boy leaving a small town to go to a smaller town.
Yeah, that's...
Even more remote.
Yeah.
It's like, so he's going back to roots, back to monkey, back to mud people.
There's a lot of weird narrative choices like that in this chapter, I thought. Where, like, Terry isn't... Because... this is his first book series, and like there's something about the way he writes that's like not following the typical like narrative rules.
Yeah, no,
and I think it works 50-50. Like 50% of the time there's something really unique things come out of him not feeling as constrained.
Yes.
By like that's not what typical, you do narratively.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't care, I'm doing it. And then it becomes very interesting because it's different. And then 50% of the time, you're like, I think maybe that was a rule for a reason.
Yeah, people...
So...
They improved upon that idea.
Yeah, so it depends. I respect that he is just like, what feels right to me is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Does it always work? No. But does it sometimes work and end up in like an area where you're like, oh, unique. Never seen that before. Yes.
Sometimes.
Yeah. So, leaving your hometown to go down into an even more simple,
but perhaps more spiritual and perhaps more reflective of the nature.
Honestly,
of
but that kind of
it tracks with Terry's.
It tracks with the themes
and I don't know. I was gonna say ethos, but that's not right.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay, ethos. That's right.
I think so.
Yeah, crushed it.
Right, but like because we're like, oh look, Michael's so materialistic, on top of the world, marble, and we don't like it. So yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, you're right. No, you're right. You'd have to return to the earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, chapter 20.
Let's bring us back. Yeah, chapter 21.
No.
Where are we starting?
Well, I'm talking about chapter 20 to bring us to 21.
Let's take us back even further to chapter 20. Where are you going?
I'm just saying, because Richard and Kaylin, we left them and then we went to DR, so we're refreshing.
Dominican Republic.
Dark and raw.
I'm going to make one comment. Pastel, rather salty. It's getting in my mouth a little bit here.
Yeah, we just used a
pastel crayon all over my face, and doesn't taste great.
The budget, right?
Yeah, and honestly, the commitment. So, like, we will literally ruin our skincare routine for you guys. So.
I know. If I break out, I'm going to be upset.
It's
Nobody made us do this. We decided
I threw out my fake blood capsule, so this is what I had to do.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Also, if you could hear, it's raining a lot right now, so you might be able to hear it, which normally I'd apologize for, but maybe it's good ambiance and some good ASMR.
A little ASMR, yeah. ASM Richard.
Okay, so chapter 20 again. They were Richard and Kaylin going through the Narrows. He loses her, not to Dark and Raw, but anyway, she's gone. Richard fights his dad, fights the shadows, and he survives, and we leave off there.
Yep.
Then we go to Dark and Raw again. Dark and Carl.
The Dark and Carl connection, yeah.
Dark and Carl, blueberry oatmeal. Okay, let's keep going. Yep. We're back chapter 21. We're back to Richard and Kaylin.
Yep.
Just Richard initially.
Come on. How are you gonna spoil it like that? So we're just past the Narrows? Like we've just exited the Narrows a bit to start off, and Richard's like, "Wait a minute."
Well, you're saying like he got out of the Narrows to begin. I don't know. It's not. I don't remember knowing.
He's in the zone where the Narrows is starting to unnarrow, starting to widen. The widens.
Yeah. So he's alone, and he basically assumes Kaylin. There's 3 options, right?
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't consider one of them until for a minute. But initially he's like, she's either dead or like with the enemy, or she just kept going forward. So then he's like, damn, I guess I'm going to have to just keep going forward.
Yep.
He starts to, and then then something hits him where he's like, wait a minute. There's a third option. Maybe she went back. Because Zed's that way. She's not with me anymore. There actually isn't a point to her going to the Midlands alone.
And it's good rationale.
It is, yeah.
You might not think it. And he was like, wait a minute. Why is she's not going this way if I'm dead?
Yeah.
If she lost me, she's going back to Zed.
Probably.
And it makes sense.
Yeah. But there is something narratively strange.
Oh, yeah.
This is one of the things I mean. Where, like, I feel like if you're somebody that's, like, really focused on like narrative structure in the like typical sense, the idea of like having this harrowing journey through the Narrows to then immediately backtrack is very bizarre.
It's bizarre. It's unsettling.
It feels
narratively
weird.
And it feels almost like illegal.
Exactly.
It feels like you're breaking every law. It's like not only like with the birth metaphor and everything we were talking about, it's like you only have one direction to go, and it's like Terry's like, no, actually we're going all the way back. We're gonna backtrack it through the harrowing thing with much lower velocity.
I know, and I kind of didn't like it.
Of course not. It's insane to do.
Yeah.
What a crazy thing for him to do.
I was like, wait, you bought me in to the strife and the stress and the intensity of the Narrows, and now you're immediately kind of being like, joke's on you. Like, I know that's not the intention.
We're gonna run it back
but it's like, we're going back in, and it's not that stressful. It's like, what?
I guess it's worse at night, but
it's definitely going to be that it's worse at night. But if it's that much worse at night, then it probably would have been worth it for them to have just
Why didn't they time it better?
I don't know. But anyway, that, and I think part of the messaging there is going to be that, like, once you've done something...
Yes. Doing it again is much easier.
Right, which like, is a good message.
Extremely well with the sword message that's coming up.
Yes, I know. So that's why I want to forgive it at the same time, because I'm like... It is unnaturally strange when you read it, and it makes you a little upset, but then you're like, oh, it like narratively fits at the same time.
It's just kind of annoying.
Something about it irks me. So he heads on back through the Narrows, noticeably easier. He is just...
he's just booking it at a steady pace.
I think he's going through. It's like sometimes shadows show up and he's just like slashing through them like no fucks given. Then he's kicking grippers out of the way.
Just booting them. Just fucking like easy. He leveled up. That's the thing.
I know, but I'm
Richard leveled up.
It does make sense. Like, for real, if you're going through something like that and the first time you see grippers, it's nighttime, they're all chasing you, all these things... You are like, this is so overwhelming to my nervous system. I'm so...
Oh, yeah. The horror, the stress, the fear. You're handling it for the first time, and everything seems important.
Exactly.
And, like, the worst thing you've ever experienced.
But then, once you've done it enough, you're kind of like, oh, I don't care.
And it's sort of this exploration of, I think, him actually... Because that entire fight was almost like him aligning himself with what really matters.
Yeah.
And that's Kaylin.
Right.
To Richard, it's like, at the end of that day... All I cared about was her, and I lost her.
Yeah.
So then when he gets a shred of hope that maybe she's around, it's like, this isn't hard. I just did this for like 16 hours straight.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
And it also kind of fits, like, with the theme where Addie, she does it so often, she got so comfortable that she was like, I can sleep here.
Oh, yeah.
Right? But, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's that thing of, like, it's so scary until you get to know it. Yeah. And then even, like, the scariest thing can
and he's taking a nap in she's like, hellhole. What?
It'll be okay.
It's fine.
And then there's that balance of, like, clearly what Richard's doing here makes sense, but clearly, like, Addie went too far where you were like, you still can't take a nap.
You still can't take a nap.
So.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Yeah, so he... What?
You still can't take a nap.
You can't.
I want to take a nap.
Richard's backtracking, and does he go through the stone gina?
He has to. It's the only way through. Yeah.
But he finds Kaylin after that?
Yes,
okay,
correct,
so Richard goes back through the stone gina.
There's a whole moment where he makes it through the stone gina, and then he there's a moment where he's following her tracks, and he's like, it's going to be harder to follow her in the woodland area because there's muddy on the other side.
Yeah, true.
The mudslide.
Yeah, so he's following her footprints, goes back through. Then he does find her. He sees her.
He does. Yeah, he's doing the Aragorn trick, where he's like, the hobbits are alive, and he runs. It's Fangorn Forest, right? Was that the moment? Yeah, I don't know.
Remember.
Oh, they're alive, and he's like, oh yeah, he like breaks his foot, right? Something like that. All right, cool.
Is it that? I don't know if it's... Maybe it's that scene. It's when he kicks the helmet. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, he discovers her.
He sees Kaylin, but she is about to be attacked. He comes perfect timing. The remaining quad member from the inn, he's there.
The last
big, blonde.
Yep.
Huge muscles.
The one comment was his boot print was 3 times the size of Kaylin's, which... Wow. This man's foot is gigantic. What?
He's huge.
Sasquatch of a man.
Yeah, it all happens very quickly, right? Mm-hmm. Well, quick and not quick at the same time. Quick meaning he immediately sees Kaylin, sees the quad member, and he's like, done. I'm doing my thing. Yep. He's dead.
Yep.
And then we get, which I liked, like... literally Richard unsheathing his sword and chopping this man's head off in just like one motion is like
a full page.
It's like paragraphs.
It is a full page, and it was fucking awesome.
It was awesome.
Slow-mo murder was so good.
And you really are picturing it in slow.
So when I read it the first time, I was like, all right, maybe this is too much. But I went back again today, and I'm reading it, and I'm like, each line is dynamic.
They're good. It's good.
Really good.
Yeah, I agree. It was good.
He sees the guy, he sees them down there, he's like a little bit up on a rock, and he takes his sword out and he dives down, and he's like, no! And like dives, and like the man spins, like, who is this challenger at the last moment? And Richard just swings the sword, the guy goes to block, and then just time drops. It drips.
And it is very gory.
Oh, it's so good.
What I'll say is that he did a really good job getting us in Richard's headspace, where like the gratuity of the violence and the gore of it all, he's writing it in a way that you are kind of like feeling hype about
You're hype. Richard's
and that's because Richard's
over the moon.
Richard is so experiencing this as like orgasmically,
which is the point,
perfect,
which is how the sword functions. That anger is like this sexual anger. It's just this like, well, it's like, it's described as this like overcoming force of just like, if you don't want this like with every bit of your being, it ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
And he does. He wants it so bad.
Yeah. So did you write some of it?
I wrote a lot of quotes, yeah. Everything else around the man dissolved in Richard's vision. His anger, the magic, was unleashed like never before. No power on earth could deny him the man's blood. Richard was beyond all reason, beyond all other need, beyond all other cause for living. He was death brought to life.
See, that kind of makes me think that when he was like, I want to eat Kaylin's jugular, that was sort of like a little bit of this aspect of the magic, like in him.
I agree.
Right?
I agree. Because I think it's this connection to this angry, hot need.
Yeah. That
is, you know, definitely like some sort of masculine urge that he's trying to describe. magically.
Yeah.
That Richard was cut off from when he was still a boy.
True.
And after this moment, he's no longer a boy. But we
definitely not.
We get into that.
The misty morning erupted with a burst of red fog that made Richard feel a flush of exhilaration as he watched clumps of blonde hair and bone and brain tumble madly away.
Oh, yeah.
Again, you're like, whoa, that's sick.
It was sick.
And then, this is the one.
Yeah, okay.
This is the one I know you want to talk about.
Tell me.
The globs of blood were flung up into the air in long strings, which finally arced and fell back to the ground and onto Richard, offering the victor the hot,
satisfying taste of it in his mouth.
Where some of it had landed, and he screamed his rage. Okay. First of all, I'm going to give a shout out to another piece of media here.
Oh.
Berserk. Because I've been reading it.
Yeah.
And if you're not familiar with Berserk, I'm convinced Sword of Truth people have to like Berserk.
1-to-1.
Right?
It is
like
a 1-to-1 analog. If you like Sword of Truth and you're okay with manga and the visual media, Berserk is just gold.
It felt visually to me. It's probably just because I'm reading it that at the same time, but sure, I'm like the visuals of that is so
Berserk,
so guts coated,
so Kentaro, R.I.P. What a legend!
Yeah, right? It is. It's really making me think of Berserk. Anyway, so if you like Sword of Truth, you want something else to read that like is going to give you.
It's definitely a dark fantasy, a dark gothic fantasy type thing, where Sword of Truth I feel like has a little bit more of a like philosophical edge.
Berserk is
Berserk's
so philosophical.
Philosophy is, I feel like it's more of a subtext. Where Sword of Truth, it's the spoken portion.
I guess so. I'd say Berserk is has more of like open philosophy, where it's playing with like 10 million different philosophies. Yeah. They're contradicting. You're kind of being asked to be like, I don't know, what do you think? We're like, let's be real, Terry's like,
this is the right.
I got one for you. Yeah. I got one for you.
And the bad one is pedophiles in an Aryan state. But anyway.
Well, that's a safe thing to.
Yeah, he's right. He nailed that
one. Put forth as bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just read Berserk. I just want everybody to read Berserk.
So good.
Anyway, it made me think.
Talk about it, please hit us up.
I know what we said. Because we've been like, oh, will we ever like expand into other podcasts? But like Berserk would be really good because we've been struggling to think of things to. Berserk would be really fun.
It would be a really good time.
I know,
and we have 10,000 years of content for that too. So.
It's not as much as this.
Yeah, I guess it depends on how much we do in an episode, which we could do a lot more Berserk in an episode. So, yeah.
But anyway, made me think of Berserk. I really liked this part. I thought it was written really well.
So good.
Got all the imagery through. Got me feeling like I was in Richard's headspace.
Oh, yeah. I just want to take you through the arc of this sword, though, because the man tries to block. The Sword of Truth hits the sword as if it was like nothing, just like cuts through it, and then there's like a spray of like shards of metal.
Well, because he's wearing.
Well, no, so then he hits his head, right above the jaw, like right here is where he hits the guy, like at the eye level, and it said it barely gave any resistance. The dude's wearing a chainmail helmet, and it just fucking passes through the metal, his bone, his brain out the other side. And then there's just a tongue left, basically.
But see, is that not like so? Like I'm like I've seen this in Berserk.
Oh yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I guess there's only so many ways to bisect a man, you know.
I don't know. There's something really particular about like the styling and the way it was described. Good.
Yeah, because it's hyper violent, and and you haven't gotten anything like that yet so far. I mean, Chase having the teeth in his armor and like there's some like hints of it. That didn't
strike me as hyper violent.
No, but I'm saying like we haven't seen anything like this in this book yet.
No, not at all. But that's like, good to save it for this character moment. Good. Is smart.
But then as soon as I like it because he swings, the dude's fucking dead. He's covered in blood and like loving it. He's got that berserker moment where he's like, and he's looking around for another enemy, and there is none. And then immediately, boom. The fucking magic hits him, and he's just, like, on his knees screaming.
Yes. So he immediately goes into like tone shift, like Richard is in agony, falling onto the ground, like feeling like every single part of his body is creating pain for him.
Yes, it is.
My question was, though.
Sure, give it to me.
Remember when they were like with Zed and he was talking about how this part of the magic would work? Didn't he specifically say that like what it'll force you to think about, like all of the good qualities of the person you killed? That didn't, I'm like, was that more like in a metaphorical sense, like you're gonna feel the power of it? Because I think I took it very literally.
Yeah, I think it like he was gonna get flashes of this man playing with his children.
Yes, and
like,
I was
catching
actually
butterflies as a 10-year-old.
I was kind of hoping for it. Like I was like, what memories and good qualities will this quad man have?
Giant booted evil Nazi have?
Yeah, I wanted to know.
We got nothing.
We didn't get anything, and I was like, oh, is that not how this works?
I think so. There's two possibilities. It's one that like Zed made that up as a reason to like fear using the sword, but also like not give him the real answer.
Okay.
Or the other one is maybe this man wasn't very good.
Not anything. Zero.
No,
nothing.
But I'm saying like maybe the pain kind of overrides that. You know what I mean?
Maybe. Well, it was there. In a bit, we get to the point where we discuss that the first time he does it, it's a lot more powerful, the pain and everything. Yeah, maybe this time. But I don't have any memory. Granted, I don't have good memories of this to begin with, but I don't have any memories of like every time Richard every time Richard kills people, them doing like flashbacks to like
but I think it isn't literal. I think it was presented as literal, because we do get the bit, and I really like this. I said that this is important. Richard killing this man, he's like seeing it over and over again in his head while he's like screaming in pain, just like the sword passing through, and the fact, like it's a fact in his mind, I killed that man because I wanted to. Yeah. And he's like, I wanted to protect Caitlin, but that's not why why did I say Caitlin?
I don't know.
I'm sorry. Miss M. Nell, forgive me. It hurts so bad because he killed a man that he had wanted to kill. Right. And he kept making this point that like he was killing him to defend Kaylin. Yeah. But that's not why he killed him. He wanted to kill this man. The reasons are irrelevant. The fact remains that he killed him because he wanted to. And he kept harping on that while he was in pain, like in that loop in his head. He's like, I murdered a man because I wanted him dead.
I feel like I took this really different.
Tell me.
Like, he did want to kill him, but I don't think Richard, if the man was not a quad member who was trying to kill Kaylin, I don't think he's, like, going around just seeing strangers and being like, I want to murder them, I want to murder them.
No. I'm saying,
like, but that is why he wanted to, and he did, but he wanted to.
That's the point.
There is a difference between... This person's threatening someone I love. I don't want to kill them, but I will. Yes. Versus this person's threatening someone I love and like, goody. Because like, hooray, I can't wait to do it now.
I think the lines were blurred on that for him. Like, I kind of feel like that's part of it.
No, I think it's that one.
That he wanted to. Goody.
Yeah, but he does need that.
Yes.
What's inciting moment? Is that? Yes. That's like the concept, right? Yeah. He needs the inciting reason.
It's a revelation. That like,
but then when he's in it, once he gets that reason and that switch is turned on, he's like, loving this. I'm loving this. Like, yep. Okay, it is his bringer of death thing, which does keep coming up. And Erica mentioned that that's like a big theme throughout. It kind of gave me like Dexter. It was kind of giving me Dexter's Dark Passenger.
Oh, darkly dreaming Dexter over here.
Do you know what I mean, though?
Oh, where's Biney? All right.
It was giving me like, Biney exists.
Biney does exist.
Hello, whatever the fuck his name is going to be.
Oh, fuck, you're right. It's not Michael, it's that other guy. Yeah, Kaylin will blow him or something.
So...
Yeah.
A little bit. Like, it's obviously not the same. Passenger, but kind of.
Born in Blood. We're born in blood right now.
Was Richard born in blood?
Well, we don't know.
We don't know.
Honestly, probably.
Maybe he was.
Almost certainly.
Anyway, it kind of reminded me of Dexter. There's differences. Because Dexter has the Dark Passenger and the desire to kill independent of their badness. And then he retrofits the whole thing to add that element. Richard is different in that he needs that element to be there for the Dark Passenger to come out in the first place.
Yes.
But then it does come out.
It comes out. And that's part of the pain of realizing I can murder. I want to murder sometimes.
Not only can I, like I can find the fun of it, the thrill of it.
Yes.
I can. That's in me. It's all very like shadow integration.
And this book clearly is all about shadow integration and like owning your shadow. Well, Dark and Raw.
But he's owning his shadow.
He's kind of not.
I see. That's what
we'll get there. We have to see what does the full picture of Dark and Raw look like. What are their like final philosophical debates look like?
Yeah, because I'm like, I thought that I was like, okay, it's feeling sort of like integrating your shadow self and accepting like dark parts of you, and then finding ways to
use them holistically for your better.
Yeah, but I'm like, Dark and Raw does seem to be. I guess it's like whatever that difference is between like you ruling the dark parts, accepting them, and then you having control over them versus accepting them and letting them run you.
Agreed.
I think that's the thing of it.
Yep. And how that's hard, like especially if you're trying to be a good person.
Right. Well,
I think Richard does consistently struggle now having that unlocked.
It's easier to be like, I'm just a good person because I'm a baby. I don't have that. I'm just a baby. I wouldn't want to like to kill people.
Kill you with blocks.
No, that's too close.
That's too close. That is the joke.
Yeah, no, I just a baby. I wouldn't kill nobody. No. But now Richard's like, oh.
I would, and the blood in my mouth when I did it tasted good.
Yeah, again, he was living for it.
Yeah, he was.
So now he's got to like deal with that.
Then he goes through the pain, and he kind of like starts processing it. Finally, like it racks his whole body. He's out. He wants to die a little bit. He's just like, this is almost the worst thing I could think of. And then he comes to the conclusion that the pain he's feeling is the anger.
It was a little confusing because it was that the pain had the same feel as the anger in the sense that they were both of magical means. Was kind of the...
Yeah.
And then he was like, once I realized it was magic, I could like...
control it. I think it was amplified. It's like the feelings that humans feel...
Right.
Amplified and externalized through a magical sword.
Right.
So the pain he's feeling is the internalized amplification of that power.
Sure.
So the reason he was able to slice through that man's head is the same reason he's hurting so bad. It's just anger... out is damaging and anger in is damaging. You have to take it though.
Okay.
So he had to be able to take the pain that he could dish out.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
Yeah, so he sort of like reasons with himself and like talks himself off the ledge. And he's sort of like, I had to kill him. It was kind of his fault because like if he hadn't been trying to kill Kaylin, I wouldn't have done that. Yeah, true. Which is true.
It is true.
So I think that's his way of saying, like, even though I enjoyed it, it didn't matter because even if I hadn't enjoyed it, I would have had to have done it anyway, right? Which kind of makes sense.
It's a good logic. Yeah.
Right. Like, he's like, even if I didn't love...
Me liking it is kind of irrelevant. Yeah, I had to do it.
Even if I didn't love it while I did it, the same actions would have taken place.
Yeah.
And that's true.
As long as you're not... like Dark and Raw, feeding those things and doing them because you like them only.
Exactly.
If you liking bad things is one thing. Everyone kind of likes bad things on some scale.
Right.
But doing bad things because you like them without reason other than I like them makes you evil.
Yeah, so exactly. So if Richard came away from that and was just like, honestly, that was so fun.
That was so fun. I'm going to just slice up every mud person I see from now on. Like, yeah, then it would be like, all right, well, Richard's now the bad guy.
Right, but he was like, if I would have done it despite hating it anyway, maybe I'm allowed to
like it when I have to do it.
Maybe I can have a little fun sometimes.
Kind of, yeah, kind of.
It's like...
And the sword's like, yes, king.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Yes, king.
That's how they talk to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then he kind of just, like, recovers.
He wakes up.
The pain's gone. He's like, I'm good. And when he comes to, Kaelin is once again cooling him off with a damn cloth.
Look at that.
Where he was like, it reminded him of his mom.
Oh, yeah.
Who is she?
Who is she?
It reminded him of his mom. And it's sweet. We get, this is like their little like archetype thing going on.
Yep.
Where she's always she's like the calming, cooling presence to Richard's like hot,
storming,
angry like, screaming insanity.
But then he calms her too, which is
nice. They always do that.
So she's cooling him off. He sits up and kind of holds her a little, and they have this thing. And I have this little. So what I liked was that she's washing his face and cooling him off. He sits up and kind of takes her, and goes to wipe her face.
Yes,
because she has blood on her face as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what he says is he goes to wipe her face to wipe from her mind the sight of what he had done.
Yeah, that's really sad.
And she doesn't let him do it.
Exactly.
She hugs him immediately.
Yeah.
And, like, interrupts that action.
It's that, like, true love aspect of, like...
And understanding. Because, Kaelin's coming from a place... She's killed people.
Right. Yeah, that's true, actually. He doesn't realize that. So she's like, it's fine. Like, it's not... like, I'm sad for you. Because she keeps saying... She's sorry that he
had to do it.
Right, but she's like sad on
like a human level and like a...
She's sad for that Richard has to like... She knows what it feels like to like carry a burden of like, I've been there.
Yeah, and now you are there too.
Right, but she's like, I'm not looking at you like a monster because my ass is out here. Like...
Yeah. You're not, you ain't that bad, bro. Like, you ain't that bad, bro.
It's good. It's all good.
My pussy power wipes their whole brain, and I did it for, like, the government for a while.
It's not just pussy power.
I'm calling it that. I know it's not just pussy power.
In a way it is, though, because this is, like, only
feminine,
women
you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying.
Holding this one.
It's like the divine feminine vagina I'm referencing.
Right. Yeah, that pussy.
That pussy. the pussy. Yeah, then they talk about the sword magic.
Yeah, so Kaelin's like, I'm really sorry, because actually I knew that the first time you killed somebody, it was going to be horrible for you. Zed told me that.
Yeah.
Which, again, truth?
Yeah.
Like, what? So, like, this isn't clearly, like, being 100% truthful at all times.
No.
Doesn't seem to be the messaging, right?
Because, like Addie said, everyone has secrets. Like,
I know, it's like...
Secrets are okay, but veracity is important.
Right.
You know what I mean? He didn't lie. No one lied to Richard. They just obscured things. And that's a different thing. That's like... Not giving him all the information.
Addie didn't seem to be like she wasn't on that shit. She wasn't accepting any
lies. Yeah. No.
Anything
Addie
that was even like... So, like, it's kind of confusing. They all seem to have, like, different thresholds.
She's a sorceress. So we don't count her. They got different rules.
Well, Kaelin knew that this was going to happen. Nobody told Richard. And it makes sense, though, because Zed thought if Richard knows that this is going to be absolutely horrible. Yeah. So it's already going to be hard enough to, like, do your first kill because that's stressful. And then he's like, if he knows on top of it, it's going to cause him massive psychic damage. It's going to just create pause every time he considers.
Is now the time I'm worried about the thing.
Yeah, even if it's like subconsciously. Yeah.
Although telling him that it's going to hurt at all, I feel like kind of sets him up for that. But maybe being like, and the first time's way worse. That's...
And yeah, it's just like...
He didn't want to give him that. He's like, the first time you got to kill, you got to kill.
So yeah, the first time, because the way the magic of the sword works, the pain is like the sword, and the pain is testing the limits of the new seeker, and it wants to see how strong, I guess, mentally you are.
Yeah, but also like how sure did you feel? How like if you can't take this pain, it's like, do you deserve this magic?
Right. It's sort of seeing who's going to be in charge, and it made me think of the guy who had the sword before Richard, because the implication was like he definitely shouldn't have had it. No. Where I'm like, so like when he had this test, did he just fail and the sword was like, I'm in charge now, bitch. I am the captain now.
I'm the captain now.
Was that what happened?
It pressed truth into his lower back. I don't know.
What?
The sword, I don't know, like just tramp stamped. I don't know. Oh no.
Well, because tramp stamps are notoriously like
symbols of ownership. Not really.
I don't know this.
That was the intrusive thoughts winning. I'm sorry.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, me neither.
So you think what's his name? Who had the sword before him? Was it Giller? No.
I don't think it was Giller.
All right, some other guy.
The guy that's with Big Booby, but
maybe he does have a tramp stamp.
Maybe he does.
So then Richard is like, oh, that's probably the secret that Zed was keeping from me that Addie mentioned. Yeah. We don't actually know if that's the case, but
no.
Maybe.
And
Richard says that like he's not upset. He actually just feels sad for Zed having to like carry.
Which is sweet.
Yeah, that is sweet.
Yeah, that is really sweet.
Richard really cares about Zed.
He really does. Yeah.
And then there's like this quote that I wrote down about Richard being the seeker.
Okay.
That I liked.
Yep.
Okay, so for the first time, Richard truly understood the meaning of being seeker in a way no one else but a seeker could. Bringer of death. He understood it now, understood the magic, how he used it, how it used him, how they were now joined. For better or worse, he would never be the same again. He had tasted fulfillment of his darkest desire. It was done. There was no going back to being as he was before, which that was the part that made me think of Dexter.
Yeah, absolutely. But also, yeah, so that is, it's definitely a crossing of a threshold. Oh, and then, we have the feminine Narrows birthing, and then the masculine sword slaying.
Wow.
Back to back. We went back through with the sword.
Huh. Oh. Oh my god. Wait.
Yeah. Richard was birthed, and then immediately
he was
dove
birthed,
back
and then
in
he was like,
with his big sword.
He got his sword. Oh my god. Wait, he went back in. Then he came back, and then he's gonna come back out again.
Yeah. Which I don't know what that means.
Like sex,
Well, yeah.
He's going in and out of the vagina with the mother, with the...
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yup. Yeah, now you're getting it. Yup. I know.
Okay.
I know.
It means something.
It means a lot.
Yeah, it's entering manhood.
Yes, he is.
Where he's being like, okay, birth...
He left the birth canal and returned
I'm coming back. I gotta go back to the vagina. But on my terms, with my sword.
Yep.
Things are working out. I enjoy... going back into the stone gina with my sword.
Yes.
Let's move on. Yeah. And then he's rebirthed again on the way back out.
As a new entity, as a man, as a seeker of truth.
Has anybody else figured all of this out?
Half of what we figured out.
Has anybody else even done the work?
Guys, in 7 months, we have cracked
the code.
I mean, Dan Brown's calling us any day now for his 16th sequel of the Da Vinci Code, and we have insight for him.
I want an honorary doctorate. Yale, Harvard.
I'll take a Nobel.
Oxford.
Hit me with that prize.
Let's go.
Yeah. So they're hugging and they're crying.
Yeah, and then Kaylin says, I thought you were lost to the underworld. And Richard says, I thought that's what happened to you too. I almost went on alone. Seems I have to keep coming back for you. And then...
Yeah.
What are you saying?
No, just... Why does he keep rubbing her face in that?
Yeah, I don't know.
So rude.
She's taking it really well, so yeah. I guess I'm supposed to assume he's reading the room better than us.
Yeah.
But yeah, that could make you feel bad.
Uh-huh.
But it made me think, which I was like, how did I not think of this before? They're really being very like Orpheus and Eurydice-y.
I thought that I didn't write it, but I was like, I'm starting to see a pattern there, yeah.
Well, they're going...
He went back through the underworld to get her.
But it like worked out.
It worked out this time.
For them. I'm like...
Maybe it'll work out this time.
Right.
Yeah.
Orpheus and Eurydice.
Poor boy working on a song. All right.
Young girl looking for something to eat.
Under a gathering storm.
Too much.
Andre, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Shout out Hades Town.
Mm-hmm.
And so...
For life.
What?
For life. For life. Wizards.
Well, it is. They are going through the underworld together.
Yep.
He's not seeing Kaylin. Sort of like how Orpheus can't see Eurydice.
That's true. Yeah.
But he does turn around and go
and
back.
He literally was holding her hand, pulling her through.
I know.
Couldn't look back.
But then he did, and then it worked because he hadn't made a deal with Hades. So
that's true.
The imagery of it was...
It's orphetic.
You're orphetic in nature.
Yeah.
I see it.
I love it.
Then they go to get up. And Richard picks up his sword and he goes to grab Kaylin's hand to help her up. And we get the...
Yeah. Hey, yo, what the fuck? From the sword, you know? Don't trust that bitch, Richard. Don't trust that bitch.
That's what happened.
Yep.
It's, yeah, the sword, every time he's holding the sword and touching Kaylin, the sword is like, ah! What the fuck? And he's like, uh-oh.
He's like, doesn't make sense to me. She's a pretty lady. Yeah.
Yeah, so as we know...
He pontificates a bit on that.
Yeah, there's a reason that the sword is telling him this, and he still doesn't know it. He's like... They're, like, talking about what happened, and they're confused by, like, why, with Chase in the boundary and everything, why were the shadows after everyone but Richard, which we thought was explained by him having the bone. Mm-hmm. But then they're like, oh, it's kind of weird because we both had bones here, and they were only after him. Yep. Because Kaylin said, he's like, well, what happened with you in the shadows? And she's like, they didn't fucking care about me. They were all going to you.
It's true.
I just walked away.
You just fucking walked off. I don't know.
I just left.
What's your guess?
I have no clue.
I think it's the Nightstone. I think that's why Zed got so pissed.
And there is a little mention of it at the end of the chapter where he considers using it, and he has like an intuition about not using it. So that's got to be why.
It's got to be why.
Well, you aren't supposed to know that Zed got pissed because we cheated.
Why would you tell them?
Because you said it. You told them.
Did I just say that?
You said Zed got pissed about the Nightstone. So you already said it.
Fuck. It was me.
Yeah, we were going to do 2 chapters. Thank God we didn't, because we're like hitting an hour now. And
the next one's got a lot more in it. So
yeah, and so anyway, we actually read ahead.
For the first time.
This is the first time we like know what's going to happen next chapter. It doesn't really, like, it kind of matters. It doesn't really matter for this conversation.
Zed's back, mud people.
Is Zed being back's exciting?
Someone thought so. Let's keep going.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, it probably is the Nightstone.
Probably. But I don't know.
So then Richard introduces the idea here of going back. They're like going back together. They have to go back through the whole thing again together.
Yep, but they do it at a steady jog.
But Richard, I ran back through the Narrows. It didn't take long that way. You up for that? Like, what is this? What a weird request.
I don't know. And he's just like, if I keep holding the sword and pumping adrenaline, I'll never I can just jog for 6 days. And he just does it. So they walked all day till morning.
Yeah.
He fought 10,000 shadow things. Then he jogged back, killed a man, felt the pain of the sword devastate his whole being, rock his richussi. And then he gets up and goes, you ready to jog another 37 miles? And Kaylin's like, go off, King.
She's like, okay.
Yeah. And he's like, I'll do a pace that you can handle, don't worry.
Yeah, but...
You slow bitch.
It's so fucking... This part is, again, annoying where you're like, before, like, the first time through there, like, be like, oh my muscles ache from the intensity of it. Now they're just like no problem.
They're all jogging. They're like running backwards up like boulders, pulling themselves along trees, like whatever.
Like, I accept it because it makes sense for the theme of it all. It makes sense that it would be easier again the second or third time, but but it is narratively again a little dissatisfying to just be like, oh, there they go.
Yeah.
All right.
That thing that was like the moment of ire
built
one chapter ago. Watch them stunt on it now.
It's like, we're not
like if it's like 6 books in the future and they're like, oh, the Narrows, and Richard's just like gliding through, you'd be like, whoa, he's grown so much. Exactly. You're just like, dude, this was like the hardest thing you ever did 6 minutes ago.
He already is owning it.
Like, same day, same calendar day.
Yeah.
Yeah. The year of our Lord Raw.
So they're jogging. And they're running, and they're getting through the Narrows. Yep. And then finally, they reach a point at the end of the woods where I guess I kind of pictured it like a cliff ridge that they're on top of, looking down over like the plains, like the grassland.
Yeah, it's very Breath of the Wild moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is probably what it looked like. So they're like looking at that, and then Kaylin announces It's called The Wilds. We're in the Midlands. I've returned home. Do you know what I'm about to say?
No.
That's right. You're like, oh my God, this literally at this point, we're almost halfway through the book. And this whole book really has just been a full ride to this moment, them getting to the Midlands, right? Yep. Like that's been the main fucking goal. And then you also have the emotional element of
her returning back.
Yeah,
to
Kaylin's been through so much, and she's finally back home. They're safe.
Yep.
She says that, and Richard replies, "This place doesn't look that wild to me." That's what he says. What the fuck?
A couple of lines later, we get to, like, Richard literally has, like, zero brain power left. Like, he's literally, like, on his last neuron at this moment. So, like, we gotta give him a little.
It's so anticlimactic. It's so rude to Kaylin. It
doesn't look that wild to me. Bitch, you live in the forest, and this is, like, the jungle. So, I don't know, like...
Why would he say that?
What does he want? Like, fucking pterodactyls to be, like, swooping everywhere? Like... What would be wild to Richard at this point? Like saber-toothed tigers, like...
I'm so done.
This ain't that wild. It's not even volcanoes fucking blowing up all over the place.
My poor girl. It's called The Wilds. We're in the Midlands. I'm returned home.
Don't look too mild to me.
Shut up.
That don't look so mild to me. Why do they call it wild? Don't look too wild.
It literally is like Tony Soprano as responses. Shut up. I'm so done. But I was so irritated by that. Anyway, and she's so nice about it. She's like, oh, it's because like the people are wild, not because of the grassland. And he's just like, sir, be happy that you accomplished a big part of the goal right now. You can finally, like, chill out for a minute. That's nice. Yeah. And then be happy for your girl.
Yeah. He's not. He ain't happy. He ain't happy at all. He's like, I've become a man, and I get to be rude whenever I feel like it now.
Yeah. So they find a little hole in, like, a rock side.
Yep.
And Richard puts together, like...
some sort of pine structure.
He gets all, like, pine...
You know, I'd have thought, I'm like, he's cutting down bows, right? And I'm like, does he use the Sword of Truth to do this?
I would think.
Is he just like... like...
It does sound cozy as hell.
Oh, yeah. They're tucked into this, like, stone tomb coated with, like...
He makes a little door.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. That was always one of the things about the books. That
Richard can turn, like, anything into, like, a fucking hygge little home for you on the side of, like, a cliff.
Yeah, but I always remember that was, like, what I loved. I loved imagining being in these little, like, cozy holes in the ground and, like, rain, and sounded nice.
It does sound nice. So then they're laying there, and I'm like, oh, I would be asleep so quick, but no, they still start talking, and I'm like, God damn.
You might have to come down a little bit with the adrenaline of it
true.
All.
Well.
And what are they talking about? It's your favorite topic.
My favorite topic.
It's your favorite topic.
The people of
Mud? No. It's your favorite topic.
Hopefully the very last time we hear about this fucking cloud, I swear to God.
They talk about...
She's like, I'm getting tired of this rain. He's like, did you know that the rain actually is serving a very functional purpose, Kaylin, you bitch? It's keeping the snake cloud away from following me. So I prefer rain to dark and raw. Rain to raw, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, come on.
It's literally like an annoying Reddit comment. Like
I know. Actually, sir.
Actually. This rain is really important.
Is saving our lives right now. Did you know? I prefer rain to the drought that would be plaguing this land without me.
Yeah, so they talk more about the cloud saving them. We get it. We get how it's working. So... then they, like, cozy up. They're laying there.
Yep.
Kaylin says, like, looks over to him, and she's like, well, welcome to the Midlands. You have done as you said you would. You got us here. Now the hard work begins. What would you have us do? Just, like, some little talk before bedtime.
Yeah.
I get it.
He's having none of it.
That's a lot of pressure to put on him right at that moment.
Yeah, can you just, like, give him a night.
But
I don't know. I got no plan right now. I fucking just
that's not true. He has a response.
I know.
So he says,
his plan is dumb as fuck, but let's go.
He's like, we need someone with magic who can tell us where the last box is.
Great.
Right?
Yeah, cool.
She says,
that's not a plan. But
we are a long way from anyone who would want to help us. And then Richard is not happy with this at all. Richard gets angry.
Yep.
And he says, I didn't say they had to want to help us. I said they had to be able to, which is very... Wait, that's so dark and raw of him.
Oh, true.
This is like when Demon was questioning dark and raw, and he said...
And he didn't know the hair on the back of the animal, that of the things that I know.
Yeah, but yes, but Demon said something, it was about the cloud tracking, right? And wasn't Darkin... He was like, I didn't say... You know what I'm talking about? No, it was when they were talking about trying to find... Well, so they were trying to find Richard. I don't know. Demon was saying, like... Well, wouldn't that not work if XYZ? And he was like, I didn't say that it had to be like that. It just could be. He like sounds a lot.
I wonder why.
He's coming across like dark and raw right now.
He is. And he apologizes.
That just hit me right now as I read it. I was like, wait, dark and raw like said this exactly.
It's a sassy ass.
Oh my god.
It's the sass. The Daharan sand-swept sassafras.
I didn't say they had to want to help us. I said they had to be able to. Again, it's like this pedantic little...
Not would, could.
You just take me to them, and I'll worry about the rest.
Yeah, he's going to make them help him.
There were exclamation points written when he said this. And then you're like, oh my god. Because, okay, I get it. I do get it. I see how he's like, I want to go to bed. And Kaylin's being like, what should we do for everything?
Yep.
But he's also being such a dick.
Where are we going next? What do you want to eat for dinner? He's like, I don't care at all.
Yeah. So then, but they resolve this quickly. She's very, Kaylin's so...
amiable.
Understanding. She's like, it's hard being the seeker, right? She actually says
she does. She's like, she's like fluffing him over there. Like, let him fucking... He's being a dick. Tell him off.
She's so nice.
Hard to be the seeker. I was only the mother confessor. You don't even know what that is.
Yeah, I guess that's true. It's like really sweet, but at the same time, you're like, God, can somebody like take care of her?
I know.
Can somebody fucking take care of Kaylin?
Eventually.
I mean, he does a little bit, but like, she needs more.
She needs more. She deserves more.
For sure.
Yeah, mother is mothering, but no one is fathering.
Mother is mothering. Somebody
no
mother.
Nobody's father.
Somebody father, mother,
Nobody's
mother.
Mother. No, it's mother. No, none of that. She had a mother, but she got killed. Get quadded.
And so then finally she introduces the concept here. There actually are some people nearby.
Yep. We call them mud people.
Very derogatory.
Oh yeah.
It's like
I guess they live in the mud.
No, it's not. They obviously do in fact live in the mud. So
they'd be mudding around.
Maybe it's a direct translation of like their own name. But so she's like, yeah, they're kind of like intense and they want to be left alone.
Yep.
They probably won't want to help us, but like who knows? We could try and talk to them though.
Yeah.
She's essentially like Richard's like, do they respect you? And she's like, kind of, but they're afraid of me, which actually is probably better.
With them, yeah.
So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it is.
And, I understand Richard's argument because she's like, they just want to be left alone. They're not going to want to, like, work with us. But he's like, Dark and Raw isn't going to give
nobody alone.
He's not going to leave him alone.
Yeah.
Which is true. I mean, they'd have to be fairly short-sighted to not consider that, but...
And then Kaylin says, you have to listen to me. Because, like, they don't speak your language. They don't speak the common tongue. Yeah. They don't speak English. But I speak their mud tongue.
English.
Whatever that is. English. But they're weird. They're weird as fuck. So if I tell you to do something, you got to listen to me. She's like, I know you want to walk in there with your sword and just tell them what's what. But that's not going to work with these people. I know the culture.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
And that's basically that.
And then we end the chapter with her saying, thank you for coming back to get me.
Yep.
And then Richard says, I had to. What good would it do to go to the Midlands without my guide? Yep. And then she says, I'll try to live up to your expectations, which I thought was kind of like a weirdly cold
Yeah, weirdly cold. Well, maybe it's just being a fucking prick.
Maybe. Yeah. I'll try to live up to your expectations. Like, geez.
I have none. I don't want to die immediately. hopefully that'll be happening.
I think it was supposed to be read as like sort of romantic. To me, something about it just was like
servile, like just very like what?
Maybe it's her being kind of.
She's like, this is where I excel, and I'm gonna do my best.
Yeah.
Like, is she like Isabel from fucking
Animal Crossing?
Yeah, it was like Animal Island. That was all my brain going with. Animal Island. Yeah, so it feels like, maybe that. She's like slipping into her professional role.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking, more like she was like on the job. It sounded very like corporate.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, okay, it's like HR Kaylin right now.
Yeah. Oh, good Sir Seeker, we will do our best to accommodate you.
But it kind of makes sense because now she's back in the Midlands. I think she's been very like little girl crush, affectionate, kind of like playing girlfriend with Richard.
Yes.
And now that she's in the Midlands, she's probably slowly trying to like
distance and
go back into like, okay, I'm mother confessor again. I can't do this with Richard as much.
And she's like,
the fantasy's
I shouldn't
over.
have been doing it at all.
Right, but
the little bits that slip through can't happen here. I know, so sad. What if I told you it all works out?
That's good.
Yeah.
So a lot's gonna happen before that, but
oh yeah.
Yeah, so that's
a lot of Lord Sith.
Does Kaylin ever get taken by them?
I don't know. I hope so. Hope so. Hope so.
I mean, you know why I asked.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Just thinking. All right, well, we're gonna do our fan. All right, we're gonna do our fan shout out.
Let's do it.
Today's shout out.
Okay.
Also from Instagram, I have to start going to other platforms. Sorry, people, but today it is Mega Whopping Cosmic Bookworm.
Woo! Mega Cosmic Bookworm. Yeah.
She is on Instagram. Mega Whopping Cosmic Bookworm. Worm with a Y, not an O.
Like a worm, like a wyvern.
Correct. And just shouting her out because she's been a super positive, consistent, lovely presence since we've been doing this. Also one of the first people who ever like followed, commented, etc.
Always in the chat. Always sharing for us. Always giving us the shout out. Yeah.
Yeah, and she has a love of Chase. That is what I associate with her. She's got a crush on Chase.
Do you now?
Yes, which relatable. I understand. Yeah. Chase is very crushable.
5 times the size of a regular Daharan, so.
Maybe it makes sense, but I take it.
Chase's boot is 20 times the size of Kaylin's.
I ship Mega Whopping Cosmic Bookworm and Chase. Okay?
Absolutely.
Sorry.
Get your man.
Emma, is that her name?
I don't know.
His wife. No, not her name.
Emma Branstone?
Yeah, sorry, Emma. You got a new girl moving in.
Uh-oh. That cabin's not big enough for 2 whole ladies, though.
Why not? There's all the kids there. One of them's
true.
good.
Honestly,
we'll wait for one to age out. You move in.
Send one to the Westlands college, and then, we got a whole new
We got to write the fanfic.
We're going to write it. Yeah.
So thank you so much for always being so nice.
Please.
And
the best.
Also, adorable Instagram. Lots of book reviews and
love it.
Book people. Hello. Yep. Go follow if you want to see book recommendations.
Sick icon. We got the dragon.
That's true.
Or a wyvern. I'm sorry.
Whatever. The worm.
The worm.
Worm. And that's our shout out for the day. I also really.
What?
We're gonna make this too long. I really want to do her crush on Chase just reminded me that I really want to do. I want to do a tier list. Of hotness.
Yeah, the hot squad. We gotta get the
far.
Chili Peppers Scoville unit ranking system going. Should we have people vote? Should we try and do like a?
Well, I want it to be like
or just our heartfelt sexy scale.
Yeah,
we could do that.
And then, of course, I want it. Then at that point, I would love to see what other people's list looks like.
Yeah, well, we could see if they agree, disagree, get a little discourse going. Yeah.
Should we do like an episode on an in-between weekend episode? Like we should make like a 20-minute video that goes up on an off week.
Okay.
That's just us making
Oh, yeah, that'd be kind of fun.
A sexy list.
Yeah, we should do that.
Somehow I think that'll end up being like 2 hours long.
Easy.
It's not what I want, but I want it to be quick. We can't talk
about boob prints for less than 12 minutes. You think we're going to like talk about the sexiness of Zed in less than an hour? What are you talking about?
It's not.
What are you, crazy?
But anyway, let us know if you want us to do a sexy tier list.
We'll do it.
So yeah, if you guys celebrate Christmas or any of the holidays, I hope you
Christmas,
enjoy.
Hanukkah,
if you're watching this live, because if you're just watching this many months, many years, whatever later, this is not relevant at all. But I hope you
Christmas, I hope was great for you.
Yeah. I hope you had a great 2023 Christmas season.
Yeah, and a good kind New Year.
A good kind. Oh. All right. Yes. Well.
Good kind to men, or what is the saying? Goodwill towards men. Good kind towards men.
Yeah, the next time we upload will be in the new year. It'll be 2024. So yes, have a good, kind new year. We love you guys.
Get bitches, Richard.
Bye.
Bye.